Good morning. How are you?
Good. Did you enjoy your weekend?
I did.
That's good.
Thank you very much.
All right. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you.
Howdy, folks. Odin Clack here. Today is February the 2nd of 2021. This is our fourth episode of Monday Shop Talk here at Odin Leather Goods. Just like last week, I'm shooting this video late. I know I keep on saying Monday. The goal is Monday. We're going to continue to say Monday, but today is actually Tuesday. It's about 10:30 p.m. at night. I'm just now wrapping things up for the shop. I spent the entire weekend away from the shop, so I'm kind of playing catch up right now. So let's talk about what I did this weekend. This weekend, I traveled down to Houston, Texas, to go to a wedding for two of my dearest friends. One friend that I've been in school with, I went to elementary school with. Her name was Sandra Kim. She got married to a wonderful gentleman by the name of Ryan. Congratulations to them. It was a big honor to be invited to the wedding and to go down there and see them and celebrate them and their wedding. So it was a good weekend. While I was there, of course, I got a chance to see a lot of friends from high school. I grew up in Galveston, Texas, and if you know anything about Galveston, you know that we are a little bit of a wild bunch. We really stick close to each other. We know most of us have gone to school together since we were elementary school. And even though we're in all parts of the state and all parts of the country at this point, we still keep up with each other and we still care for each other. So it's nice to be able to go home for once and see one of my old friends get married. While I was down there, I also got a chance to go by and see my sister who lives in Houston. And we took a trip down to the island. The wedding was in Houston, but my sister and I took a trip down to the island where I grew up and where my mother still lives. So we got a chance to spend 5 or 6 hours with her just visiting and hanging out with her, which is really great. Fortunately, I don't get a chance to do that as much. But as a result, I spent the entire weekend away from the workshop, which is not something I do very often. But I'm going to have to get used to it because for the next few weekends, I'll be traveling. Last week was in Houston. This coming week, I'll be in Houston again for another event. And then the following weekend, I will be in Tulum, Mexico with my beautiful bride and wife. So we're going to get away from here for a little while and do a little bit of vacation, which I'm really, really excited about. Not so much for me. I don't really care so much about going to the beach. I grew up on the beach. Granted, Tulum, Galveston, Texas, two different things. Fair enough. But me, I'd rather go in the mountains. But what I am very excited about is that my wife is ecstatic. She's very, very happy that we're going to be leaving town, leaving the kids here. It'll be just to be the two of us down in Tulum, Mexico for about a week, which is going to be awesome. So before we go, I've got a ton of stuff to do. I've got to catch up. I've got to make sure things around here are still moving smoothly. Luckily, Brandon's still here in the shop, rocking and rolling. He's like a machine. He never stops. He just stays on top of all the orders that are coming in and the big orders that are coming in. So I don't have any fear about that, but I have the orders that I'm responsible for that I still got to keep up with. And those are starting to pile up, so I've really got to buckle down this week and make sure that things are getting done. So probably going to be quite a few late nights for me this week. That's fine. Vacation's coming up in a few weeks, so it's quite all right for me to burn the candle at both ends right now. Let's talk real quick about the pocket protector job. I've been talking about it for a few weeks now. The job is probably about a quarter of the way done. We'd probably be a little further along at this point, but we are still waiting on material. If you know anybody at the tanneries around the United States, you know they are hurting hard. COVID has hit most of them pretty hard, and they've had stoppages and shortages of staff for really the last 9 months or so in their shop. So they're behind on leather. So when they get behind, obviously leather shipments coming to me get behind as well. So we are still waiting on harness leather for the last 3 quarters of this project. The first quarter is pretty much done. I'm actually looking at them. We have a bunch of these things done right here. These are the pocket protectors. I'm not sure if I actually showed these in any of the previous videos, but the way they work is they literally just go in a front pocket of a jacket or the back pocket of pants, and your tools go inside like a pocket protector. The goal, obviously, is to keep your tools from poking holes in your pants. As I said in previous videos, these things are not things I sell a ton of every week or every month, but around Father's Day, around Christmas, I do get pretty busy with these, and people really do like them. It's one of those things that not everyone's going to get. Not everyone's going to appreciate them. Not everyone's going to want them. But the guys and gals who do want them, I actually absolutely covet them, and they use them for years. Usually they'll buy 2 or 3 of them at a time and keep them around the house and workshop and car. So not for everybody, but this nostalgic thing is appreciated by a few. So I still make them, which is great. Okay? So we talked about the pocket protector. We talked about the position of that project. What else is going on around here? Let's look back at my notes here. So still waiting on leather for those. Something I want to show you is not a product of mine. I am going to be making some. I probably will have some for sale in my store. But these are templates. I will not be selling these templates. These templates are from Don Gonzalez. You've heard me talk about him a lot over the last few weeks. He is the motivation behind these Monday videos. He, in fact, actually does his videos every Monday. Me, I'm just trying to get close to Monday, as you can tell, it being Wednesday night at now 10:40 p.m. or so. But if you haven't looked at his videos, I'll link them in one of the cards above or below. Go check out his videos. He has a lot of good information to offer. But one thing I saw him doing, I'm going to say a few weeks ago, was making these cool little knife sheaths. So in Texas, as in most places, I would assume guys love to carry their pocket knives. I carry day-to-day a Benchmade pocket knife. This is it here. It's a few years old. It's seen better days. It's always filthy, but probably the nicest knife I've ever bought. Certainly there are guys and gals that they would carry much more expensive knives than this, but this one works just fine for me. I carry it every day. But a lot of folks also like to carry what's called a trapper knife or a case trapper knife. A case brand knife is a very popular knife. It's been around for as long as I can remember. I know a lot of guys, ranch hands and country guys like to carry them. I actually have a few. In fact, I'll actually be carrying a few in my retail store pretty soon. I was able to get a wholesale account with them, and I'll be distributing their knives in my store and probably online too. We'll see exactly how many I'm able to get from them. But to go along with those knives, it makes sense that if I'm going to sell a knife, I also have a sheath for it. Now, you may have called and asked me about making sheaths in the past, and I told you no, and that was still the case. I'm not a sheath maker. Sheath makers and holster makers are a unique bunch. They have a unique set of tools, and more importantly, they have a unique set of skills that while I can do a nice sheath, and I can do a nice holster, most of those guys who specialize in those things would do a much better job than I do. So I tend to pass those jobs off to someone who just specializes in sheaths and holsters. That said, I am going to start making a few small, simple, classic men's work gear style pocket knives. But I got to be honest, I got the template from my friend Don Gonzalez. He sells the template pack online. I bought his template pack, and because I'm kind of a, I don't know, I have laser here and I have clicker press here. I actually made his templates into these acrylic templates. Now, again, I won't be selling these. If you want his templates, go to his website, Don Gonzalez Saddlery, and you can buy his templates from him. These are just for me. But these holes are for where the tooling would go. Not quite convinced I'm going to be doing any tooling. It's been 3 or 4 years since I've done it. I'm not horrible at it, but I'm also not great at it. So I'm not sure if I want to waste my time doing that. But I did go ahead and make these 3 sizes based on his template pack. One's for a case trapper, one's for a German I brand, and one is for, I think, a sod buster style knife. All 3 great, very popular men's pocket knives that people will carry with them. It's more of a traditional pocket knife. But I went a step further. Not only did I make the acrylic templates for myself to use and make things a little faster, I actually went ahead and got a clicker die as well. I'm pretty sure, I know he sells these clicker dies. In fact, no, I don't know if Don sells the clicker dies, but he does sell pre-cut parts, parts made out of all Herman oak leather. So really great leather, probably the best leather you can use for tooling and things like this. What he uses in his shop with saddles, but he actually will sell you pre-clicked out pieces just like this of his knife sheath, right? You can take it home, you can tool it, and you can do all your things to it. This is just for me. I won't be selling anything, but I just want to show you these. This die is from Texas Custom Dies. I get a ton of questions about the dies that I use in my shop every week. Probably 2 questions a day if someone want to know, hey, who makes your clicker dies? Where do you get those from? You guys have seen me working on this press before in other videos in the past. Well, all my clicker dies are made by one of 2 people. The first company is Milwaukee Steel Rule Dies. I've bragged and touted them for the last few years. They do a really good job. You can see all their dies over here on the shelf. They just keep collecting. I think I got 4 or 5 more dies last week, and I have 2 or 3 more dies coming from this week. And then the other company I order from is actually a company that's local to me. They're only maybe 30 or 45 minutes away from me in I think they're in Alvarado or Alvord, Texas. Don't quote me on that. Is it on here? No, it's not on here. But that company is Texas Custom Dies. Texas Custom Dies has been in operation for a long time. They're owned by a very good family. I forget I think the husband's name is Kurt and the wife's name is Heather. I usually talk to Heather on the phone or through email. She's always very helpful and ready to give you her opinion about how best to make your dies and things like that. There are 2 different style dies, and I'll do a video at a later date about the merits and pros and cons of each style. I mean, because they do have their pros and cons each. But this is a more traditional welded steel, steel band. I don't know what it's called. Clicker die. They're about 1.25 inches tall, and they're heavy duty. These things are bomb proof, really are. Very hard to break one of these. And again, they have their pros and cons. These dies behind me from Milwaukee Steel Rule dies are great dies also. I probably have more of them than these at this point, but they also have their pros and cons. And again, I'll do a video on that stuff later and talk about that. But check out Texas Custom Dies. Check out Milwaukee Steel Rule dies. Buy the dies that are right for you. By the way, depending on the design you have, one die maker may work better for you than the other die maker. So those are all things we can talk about later. But anyway, I'm very excited about this. I'm going to try not to go down too far down the rabbit hole of making sheaves and doing tooling and all that kind of stuff because I got so much other stuff to do here. But I am excited about making these. So the knives, my first order of knives should be here in the next few days. And then I'm probably going to take a few days to make a few sheaths. And then once that's done, I'll have them online for sale. And you can buy all your case trappers and maybe a few of the brands and style knives from me moving forward. So think about me for the holidays, Valentine's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, Labor Day, whatever you want to do. Come see me and check me out for those gifts like that online. Okay, so that's that. My acrylic template sales are still going very strong. We have the clutch template that's available online. Those have been selling like crazy. I've had to buy a ton more acrylic just to keep up with those orders. So if you want them, if you go to the website and it says sold out, don't worry. Within a day or so, there'll be more there. Just leave your email address and I will email you when they're back in stock. Normally, I will not be out of stock for more than 2 days at the most. Basically, just enough time for me to get more acrylic in. I should probably just place a really big order for acrylic and cut them all at once. But anyway, if they're not there, if they're not available, just give me a day or so. I'll have more available as soon as possible. Now, speaking of templates, I will have another template release very soon. That's going to be for a flap wallet. In fact, it's the very same flap wallet that I carry in my pocket every day. It's this one here. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably remember when I made this one, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago or something like that. This one is actually made out of a natural colored shell Cordovan from Horween. You actually see the Horween stamp on the back, which is always coveted by a lot of leather workers, right? Really cool. This is mine. I did a video with my guy Hunter. Hunter recorded it and edited it. He got it done last week. I'll be uploading it to YouTube in the next day or so. And probably will release that new video, I'm assuming Friday, Saturday maybe, is when I plan to get that video out. It's a great little video. This one is only 11 minutes long, so it's really easy watch. Hopefully you'll all stay here on YouTube. You'll check it out. Leave me your comments. Let me know what you think. I'll be honest, the build wasn't perfect, right? It is a hand-cut wallet. It's a hand-stitched wallet. And for some reason, as I was going through the build, I made this decision that I was going to do a stitch groove in the wallet, and I was going to carve out the section where the stitches go so they lay in there flat. It turned out looking great, but in hindsight, I don't know why I did that. Maybe it was just too late at night. My mind was getting a little fuzzy. I tried to new things. It wasn't the right leather to do a stitch groove on, even though it turned out right. The next time I make those wallet, which I have made several since then, I've been omitting the stitch groove. It's just not required in shell Cordovan of all things. Other thing that I do differently on the wallet you're going to see the video of is I probably would use a thinner thread, right? The thread I was using was like a 0.08 Ritza Tiger thread, which is a very popular and really great quality, hand stitching thread. But in hindsight, I'd probably go with like a 0.04 or 0.06 weight thread. I think it'd be a little more delicate, a little lighter, look a little better on the wallet. The wallet turned out great. In fact, someone came in 2 days later and bought it right off of me because they loved it so much. I don't know if that was because of my craftsmanship in the wallet, or because it was made out of a badass piece of leather. It's a marble green and black shell Cordovan. It was absolutely gorgeous leather. That's probably what sold it. But you know, hey, I'm not perfect. I try things. Some things work out. Some things don't work out. It's quite all right. None of us are. I was kind of telling some people on Instagram last week. Surprisingly, I was on Instagram when I was telling people this, but what I was saying was, don't get trapped in Instagram thing or YouTube thing. We're not perfect. You know, we're makers, we're crafters. Part of what we do is we just learn how to keep on trucking. We keep on doing things over and over again. Things don't work out, you adjust, you pivot, you make a few changes, you try it all over again, you try to make it better. But you know, we in the shop, we are far from perfect. We're not Hermes, we're not Louis Vuitton, we're not that type of shop here. We are a handmade, kind of a gritty shop that produces quite a bit of stuff and produces with our own two hands. And kind of our error margin here, you know, kind of fluctuates from time to time, but you know, we make mistakes, and I'm happy to show you some of those mistakes as we make them, because I want you to know that we are just like you. And you know, sans a few pieces of equipment and some videos I've made over the years, there's really not much difference between me and you. And I'm talking to the guy and gal who's still working in their garage or working at the dining room table. We're all the same. We're all going through the same thing, and I can relate to all that. So just want to put that out there. New video. Whole point of that was say new video is coming out later this week, Friday, Saturday, and that'll be for Flap Wallet. There will be an acrylic template to go along with that, as well as a paper/printable template that will all be available at odinleathergoods.com. Okay, so really excited about that. This video, of course, will be coming out probably Wednesday afternoon. So you can watch this video, check out Instagram a little bit, and then come back again on Friday to check out the release Friday or Saturday for the release of the acrylic flap wallet acrylic template and flap wallet video. I think I said it right this time. All right, so what else is going on here? Before I leave tonight, I have to get a bunch of large format placemats done for the Hestra company. Hestra, who some of you may know, especially if you're into skiing and outdoor stuff, they make these really high-end gloves, and they have been entrusting me for the last 2 years, I think, year and a half, 2 years, with making mats for some of their retail stores. So what you see back here is I make these really big mats. They're like placemats. They're this big. I'm not sure the size, but they're huge. It's a piece of like 10-ounce vegetable tan saddle skirting on top, and then 5 weight on the backside. And it's this all around, and then hot stamped in the upper right-hand corner with the Hestra logo. I made a ton of these around, I want to say around in November, early November. And I have a few more to make now. There's 6 of them here. I've got to knock out pretty soon. I have today and tomorrow to knock those out. They go together pretty fast once I get to the point where the leather's actually cut. That seems to be the hardest part for me, is just pulling that leather off the shelf, laying it out, and then cutting the placemats out. But I get it done eventually. So luckily my clients tend to be a little more patient with me this time of year. So we'll get that done later tonight, or at least we'll get part of it done. We'll get all the glue up done. We'll get them laid out, and then we'll do the trimming and stitching tomorrow and finish it off with the burnishing by end of day tomorrow, so those can ship out to the Hestra folks as quickly as possible. That's on the docket. What else is on the docket? Belts. Tons of belts. If you've been waiting for a belt, I'm going to try to get some of those belts done this week. Normally, I try to hold off and do belts in large quantities, 20 to 30 to 40 belts at a time. It just seems to be more efficient that way. It is a bear, it is a burden, it is a kick in the seat when you have to do that many belts one after another. But for the type of work we do here, it seems to be a little better for us that we batch things together. So it's better for me to do typically 40 belts at a time than for me to do one belt, have to stop and do something else, and come back and do another belt, stop and then come back to do 2 more belts. That just wears me out. So what Brandon and I tend to do here, we tend to do 30, 40 belts at a time in one color. Then we'll move on to another project. Then we'll come back and we'll do another 20, 30 belts in another color and go back and forth, back and forth. It breaks up things a little bit because as exciting as Instagram and YouTube can make the workshop life be at times, I'll tell you, sometimes it's kind of a, there's some monotony here. There's some routine here that can really wear you out. I mean, we were talking about these pocket protectors. You can imagine after making 700 or 800 of these things, you kind of get tired of making pocket protectors. You want to do something else. So sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes you have to power through. But when we can, we like to break up the work with other types of work. things that are completely different. So if we've done a bunch of these, we'll stop and we'll do some of these placemats. If we've done a bunch of those placemats, we'll stop and we'll do some belts, or we'll do some wallets, or later this week, hopefully we'll be doing some sheets. That's how we like to do things here at the shop. Yeah, so let me see. I have some notes in front of me hanging on the tripod here. Let me actually read some of the notes. So let's talk about the retail store. Got a lot of questions about retail store. Last week there was some confusion with some customers coming out. They thought I was open and I wasn't open. We have decided to keep our temporary hours going. Some of you may know that in the month of January, we actually changed the store hours to be, we're actually closed Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then we're open on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The reason for that is January is just so slow. People have a little bit of fatigue from shopping in December for the holidays. You got the COVID stuff going on. It just makes for a bit of a slow time at the store. So we wanted to shut it down for a little while, save a little money in operating expenses, and then spend our time here at the workshop making stuff and building inventory, replenishing inventory for the store. So if you're looking to come out and see Odin Leather Goods and Provisions, I hope that you still come out. Just don't come out on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday because we will be closed. And all my neighbors in the neighborhood in Grandscape are going to be closed also. So you're not really missing just me. All of us will be closed. Instead, come out and see us on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. We're there until 8 p.m. on Thursday until 8 p.m., Friday until 9 p.m., and Saturday until 9 p.m., and Sunday until 7 p.m. So plenty of time to come out and see us. If you don't catch us there, you can always catch us at odinleathergoods.com. We're open 24 hours a day there. Orders ship out. Recently, they're shipping out within about 24 to 24 hours or so. I think is how we're processing orders right now. If you order it today, it should ship out tomorrow. At the latest, it'll ship out the next day. We're trying to get orders in and out as quickly as possible. So check that out. This next week, probably going to try to do the Monday shop video from the store. I want you guys to see that there's a lot more to Odin Leather Goods than just the shop. I also want to try to do some daytime videos as well, not just at night, so you know that I actually work during the day too. But I'm going to probably try to do the video from the store there. One, because I want to show it off a little bit. I want you to see what we do here and how it gets into the store and what we do around the store. Check out some of the new cool products we have there, how we manage some of the products, kind of my philosophy and brand philosophy for how we're picking products for the store. Hopefully maybe introduce you to some of the retail staff we have there. My wife, Debbie, Jill. Jill's new to the team out there. Looking forward to introducing you to her. She's one of the ladies that you're probably going to see if you go out on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Looking forward to that. So I also want to show off a little bit of Grandscape. Grandscape's a great development. We're really proud to be out there. There's a lot more to it than just Odin Leather Goods. There's a movie theater out there. There's a bunch of great restaurants. There's a wine bar. There's Tyler Kingston's there. Creation Jewelry Shop is there. Socialite Pink is there. There's a Julie Sweets is there, which Julie Sweets is like the most amazing cakes in North Texas. So she makes cakes like your grandmother would make cakes. They're really heavy, they're really dense, and I'm sure there's a ton of butter and eggs in there that makes them absolutely fabulous. I've actually got to stay away from there. I've put myself at a limit how many times I can go over there in a month, because it's easy to go there and just go comatose on sweets. They're really, really good. So if you come by me, make sure you stop by and see all my neighbors as well. They're really great people. And they're family-owned businesses like me. A lot of them are making their own things. They're running shops. They're husband-wife teams that are running their shops, and I'm proud to be next door to them. So check them out. All right, last thing. All right, so we've been going about 25 minutes now or so. Let me wrap things up with taking on a couple topics that, again, these didn't come from the question and Q&A I usually post on Instagram. These came from DMs that were sent to me. And I think I got these questions at least once or twice this past week, so I thought I'd use those for the Q&A today. The first one is, and I have it written here, one thing about the business that most people don't know. What's the one thing about the business that most people don't know? Okay, so I did think about this, and even though I thought about it overnight and earlier today, I still had a hard time coming up with a straight answer for this. So I'm going to try my best. The one thing about business, this leathercraft business, that I didn't really realize when I got into it was how much of the leathercraft business is done outside of the workshop. A lot of leather crafters and makers want to spend all their time being very passionate about the craft And the craft is very important. If you don't enjoy the craft, this is going to be a tough business for you to be in. You've got to enjoy what you're doing, especially when you're doing a ton of something over and over and over again. You make 100 belts, or you make 20 belts, right? You're going to get tired of making belts eventually. So that passion's got to carry you through. But what a lot of folks don't realize is that the success of the business is probably not going to take place in the workshop. The success of the business is probably going to take place in the office. I spend at least half of my time in the office. And what am I doing in the office? I'm planning, I'm doing my books, I'm doing the accounting stuff, which I need to do better on, right? I'm also responding and working with customers back and forth. Tons and tons of emails. I'm doing videos like this. I'm doing Instagram. I'm doing planning. All those things take place in the office, and all those things are, to be honest with you, vital to the success of your small business. And you've got to find a way to manage all that stuff effectively, and still do all the workshop stuff at the same time. That's very, very important. So, the one thing I didn't realize about business, I may have known in the back of my head because of my time at corporate, but I didn't really think about it with regards to running this craft-based business, is you still got to put time in the office. You got to put your time in out here. You got to put your time in there. For me, it's like I have two different jobs. I have my office job portion of Odin Leather Goods, then I have my workshop portion of Odin Leather Goods. Both those things are important. They have to be done. Keep in mind, I also have my wife who's managing the store. I have my wife who's also helping out with fulfillment of orders and things like that. And I'm still spending a ton of time in the office. But that's with the make or break it in there. That's how you really get things going. So don't forget about that. Now, the other thing, and this is, I think, a related question, but the most important skill was another question. What's the most important skill for running a leathercraft business? I think most people probably would imagine I'm going to say, cutting leather or tooling leather or gluing leather. I think those are all skills that can be taught. I think those are all skills that become kind of a commoditized skills at some point, because once you get really proficient at something, the difference between being proficient and being a master at something is very small. Obviously, the results are big, but the difference between them are fairly small. You can do all those things. What I think has really helped me grow my business over the years is the ability to plan out a big project. You guys know I do tons of big projects. I like doing big projects. Those things keep my workshop going. I enjoy them, right? Even though they can be a bear time. But they can also be, if you're not careful, they can also be a butt kicker, in the sense that if you take on a really big project for 3,000 pieces, you don't cost it out right, you don't plan it out right, you don't order the right amount of leather, so forth and so on, you're going to get eaten alive with these big projects. You've got to be able to estimate, how many of these pocket protectors can you get out of one side of leather. You've got to be able to estimate, waste. You've got to be able to estimate labor. I've got to be able to figure out up front for making these, if I'm going to have help, which I do have help in the workshop now, how much help is going to go into making this one item? How much help is it going to require us to make these for 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Is this going to be something that's going to take us 6 months? But what's going to go into making this single product, right? And then you've got to work that all into your cost. If you can't do that, you're going to find that you're actually probably wasting more money than you are making. And obviously, no one wants to lose money while they're lose money when they're in business. The whole idea is to make money doing something that you enjoy. But to make money, you've got to be able to do all your estimations very, very well. So I have some, quasi-complicated spreadsheets that I use. I have some experience behind me that has helped me. The experience I'm talking about right now is the experience of me making mistakes, to be honest with you. Making mistakes, I've learned, hey, don't do that again. Don't forget this one aspect. Don't forget to add this in. Don't forget to plan for this. Don't forget to order that, so forth and so on. Don't forget to order 2 sets of dies. Don't forget to order your stamps. Don't forget to get approvals on your artwork. It goes on and on and on. These are things that I've learned the hard way. But now that I've learned them, I'm incorporating them back into my business, and I'm making sure that these lessons are things that are becoming profitable for me now. And so I would encourage you to do that. Don't shuck, on the responsibilities in the office. That's very important. And also get better at planning the work. The material usage, the cutting usage, the waste, cost, including your time and your labor's time, and like driving around town. All those things go into coming up with a profitable project. And I would encourage you to try to figure those things out. I have in the past had people ask me for my spreadsheets. I haven't shared them only because my spreadsheets work for me, right? The way I have them set up in Excel, the way I have all the formulas and things like that all organized, I don't think would mean a bit to any of you. I don't think that it would help you too much. I may eventually do kind of a simplified worksheet that shows you kind of, here's material cost, here's labor cost, here's hardware cost, and then break it down to, with a margin, how I organize it. But when it comes down to you and your workshop, you're going to have a totally separate, different set of costs and a different set of a different way for managing those things. So don't know if my spreadsheet will help you, but maybe eventually I'll get to the point where I can do kind of a video on how I organize all these things, where I kind of like I sit here and I talk about cost 1, 2, 3, 4, things like that, and see if that helps. But that's probably not going to happen very soon. That's probably going to be maybe a summertime video if I even get around to it. So maybe I'll talk to Hunter. We can organize and see if we can come up with a video style for that. All right. So those are the two big things. A little hydration there. All right. So speaking of Hunter, I've told you already, he's helped me get a video out the door this week. And I may have mentioned this last week. We are also going to be planning a shop tour style video, right? Walk around the shop, show you all the equipment, show you all the dies, all the tables, show you all the machinery, talk about those things. That's probably going to come up. I don't think we're going to get to it this month. Maybe we'll get to it in the month of March. But I'm actually really excited about it. I saw a video by John Malecki, and I've seen some videos by David Picciuto. These are all guys that are on YouTube that I respect. And I really like their style of video. So we may try to emulate that as we go into March. We do a shop tour video. That said, if you have ideas for other videos, you have something that you think you'd like me to try to make or build, like a backpack or a bag, something like that, that me and Hunter can shoot in a day or two, let me know. Put it in the comments. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think about future videos and ideas you have for me to do future videos. Maybe some big questions you want me to answer on a video one day. Let me know what you think about this style, the camera, the new angles and things like that, me moving around and standing. Does that work for you? Does it not work for you? These videos are all about you, and I want them to be valuable, and I want them to be worth you watching every week. So let me know what you think. Of course, I would appreciate if you like it. I would appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you share the channel with your friends and other makers, whether they be leather workers or woodworkers or metal workers, doesn't matter. Maker, the workshop lifestyle, the maker lifestyle is pretty much all the same. It doesn't really matter what we're making. It matters about our attitude and what we put into it. That I think that's attractive to all of us. So make, like, and subscribe. Hit the little like button and bell icon below so you get notified when new videos go up. These videos will always go up somewhere between Monday and Wednesday, I hope. And then we will release our bigger videos once or twice a month moving forward. So thanks again for watching. Thanks again for your support and your comments and interacting with me. I really appreciate it. And we will see you again next time. See ya. Bye.